Hello and thank you for joining us. This is the news on NTA International. I am Charles Alpha. John Bamidele is our sign language interpreter. But first, a quick look at some of our top stories. Renewed Hope Initiative soars. Nigeria's First Lady steps up knowledge for 252 women in information technology. Court fixes November 22nd for consideration of motion on notice and police suit against Rep member Alex Ikwechek. And amid conflict, Sudan set to join malaria-free nations, rolls out vaccines for citizens. We'll begin with the Vice President Kashim Shettima calling on Muslim Ummah to always channel their resources in the path of Allah for eternal rewards. The Vice President stated this in Ogbomoso at the inauguration of an ultra-modern Ibapon Central Mosque built by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, Oyo North. That report will be brought to you as soon as it is ready. Another set of 252 women drawn from across the country have been trained and empowered by the National Information Technology Development Agency in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative. While presenting empowerment items to the beneficiaries, Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, describes the feat as another significant leap in the efforts of the current administration to advance gender equity, leveraging technology. The State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo has the report.
It was a partnership born out of shared vision, which is to empower women and give them more room to play in the digital space. The vision drew its first breath on August 21, 2023, when a set of 35 beneficiaries drawn from the FCT underwent a 5-day ICT training with Renewed Hope Initiative, providing the platform and beneficiaries, while the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, offers logistics and training. Today, on the second year anniversary of this strategic collaboration, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is pleased to see the growth of the program, which now has 40 women per geopolitical zone, embarking on the same capacity building training aimed at transforming their communities.
These women are now set to go out into the world to put these new skills to use and to inspire and guide other young women. And I'm so glad hearing your testimonies today that you all are set to empower others, and that is the message. I look forward to the great things that all of you will accomplish in the months and years ahead. I thank the Director General of NIDA, Malam Kashifu, Inua Abdullahi, and his team for this passion and steadfast commitment to bridge Nigeria's digital divide by ensuring our women's full participation in the digital revolution through access to technology that will enable them contribute meaningfully to the economic growth and innovation.
She notes that the ultimate goal of the collaboration is to leverage technology to bridge gender gaps.
To create more diverse and inclusive tech world, we need to inspire and empower the next generation of female role models to pursue and develop their career in technology and become innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
The Director General of NITDA, Kachifu Inua, is upbeat about the opportunities that are now at the disposal of beneficiaries in the digital space.
This will help them to expand their businesses. This will help them to have access to education and skills online. They can work from home. They can be part of the gig economy, creating software, doing graphic designing. And if they have their own petty business, they can use the skills to expand their market.
I'm so inspired, and I pledge that
Exuding much confidence with their startup packs in hand, the beneficiaries say they are ready to impact the digital world and their communities. From the conference center of the Presidential Villa, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
The federal government, through the Job Creation and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Secretariat of the Vice President, has signed a partnership with a music icon, Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Two-Face, to seek public support for the MSME sector. The partnership agreement was signed by Two-Face and Tola Adekunle Johnson, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, as the coming on board of Two-Face as a job creation and MSMEs brand ambassador would promote ideas and initiatives under the National MSMEs Awards. Innocent Idibia appreciated President Tinubu's administration for its support to the youth and small businesses, promising to create more awareness in the country on MSMEs, especially among the youth.
To consistently promote this, we've looked at areas that are of interest to some of our target audience, and you will agree with me that is the entertainment or creative industry. And today we will be unveiling who I regard as an icon, a legend in the game. Of course, we've been friends for a long time, but in his rights, he's a legend.
Most of our youth today, there's so many things going on that they can easily just be deviated from following the right positive trajectory of life. But with this, it's people might even underestimate the power and the value that this will bring, to both the individuals and their communities and then the country as a whole. So for me, I really commend this initiative. I commend the show of concern and the show of support from government towards young people.
Others promised more partners from the private sector and encouraged commitment to empower the youth in the area of job creation. And elsewhere, Botswana has sworn in new President Duma Boko, cementing a change of government after his landslide election victory, which knocked out the party in power for nearly 60 years. And U.S. President-elect Donald Trump picks White House Chief of Staff. Francis Udojo now tells us more.
Boko, 54, took the oath in front of several thousand people in the National Stadium in the capital. The ceremony was attended by the presidents of other Southern African countries, including Madagascar, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
I will faithfully and diligently discharge my duties and perform my functions in the high office of the Republic of President of the Republic of Botswana.
Boko's left-leaning Umbrella for Democratic Change, UDC, won 36 seats in parliament in the October 30 election, compared to 4 for the Botswana Democratic Party, BDP. It was a stunning reversal for the party that has ruled diamond-rich Botswana since its independence from Britain in 1966. Former President Makwitsi Masisi, who swiftly conceded defeat a week ago as the results became clear, was also in the audience. In another development, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has named his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, as White House Chief of Staff, his first major appointment since winning the week's election. Trump described Susie as tough, smart, innovative, and is universally admired and respected. He said, "It is a well-deserved honor to have Susie as the first ever female Chief of Staff in the United States history." Meanwhile, the French and Canadian embassies in Seoul hosted a remembrance ceremony to commemorate the end of World War I at the War Memorial of Korea in Yongsan District, central Seoul. In 1918, the Allies and Germany signed an armistice on November 11 to end the 4 years of war. French Ambassador Philippe Betox, in his speech, said, "The memorial in Seoul reminds people of the importance of preserving the memory of those who fought for freedom." In his speech, Canadian Ambassador Tamara Mawini, said her country is proud of the role the Canadians played during the First and Second World Wars and the Korean War. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
South Africa is well known for its vast mineral wealth, hosting an array of critical resources. How has the country's mining sector evolved since the mid-20th century under apartheid to the present day? And what efforts have been made to shift from exporting raw materials to adding more value locally will be the focus of this report.
South Africa's mining industry has evolved from its gold-dominated roots. The Minerals Council of South Africa reflects on how this shift has transformed economic contributions and value addition strategies.
If we go back to the turn of democracy, gold was by far the dominant subsector of mining, responsible for something like 60% of all mining output, export revenue, employment even. It was all dominated by gold. So we've moved significantly away from gold as the dominant force over this period, and now it's a much more diversified mining sector. Gold now is around 15% of production, but we're now the biggest producer of PGMs or platinum group metals.
While mining still makes a significant contribution to the economy, the sector has lost some of its shine over time. Efforts to transform the industry and redress the past have been challenging. Policy uncertainty has also kept investors nervous.
I think some foreign companies or investors do look at parts of the sector and say, you know what, that might be a bit too risky or difficult to operate. So, for example, the PGM sector, I think BHP might have looked at PGMs and said, SA platinum mining, maybe we want to give that a miss. So I think there are still pockets of the sector that are challenging, but I don't think foreign investors look at South Africa and say we don't want to be involved with that at all.
In coal, for example, it's been interesting in that some of the major international players have sold off their coal assets in South Africa to local companies. And those local companies have been quite successful in terms of taking over those operations. We certainly don't think it's a sunset industry, and we think there's lots of potential for mining to be contributing more to GDP over time. So currently, that contribution in nominal terms is around 6-7% of GDP. So it's not inconsequential, but it could actually be a lot better.
Once upon a time, mining contributed over 20% to the South African economy. But the landscape has changed over time. There's less to extract and there's less power to work with, amongst other issues that include policy uncertainty. However, some experts do believe that there's plenty of potential in South Africa's vast resources to get that shine back. Whether that will be achieved remains to be seen.
Now, World Health Organization says climate change makes people ill and urgent action is a matter of life and death, insisting health should be center stage at this month's international climate negotiations. WHO is highlighting in a new report published ahead of the November 11 to 12 COP29 Climate Summit in Abuja how extreme weather events were costing lives and fueling disease. The Baku summit will be the last UN climate summit before Donald Trump's return as United States president in January. Trump, who will return to office in January, has long denounced climate change as a hoax. Trump has pledged to reverse the more climate-friendly policies of outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden, under whom the U.S. rejoined the Paris Agreement. And in Sudan, Sudan has begun rolling out its first malaria vaccination program amid the country's 18-month civil conflict. Francis Udojo reports that vaccines will be administered to around 148,000 children under the age of 12 months in 15 sites in the Daref and the Blue Nile states.
Sudan is among the first 16 African countries to introduce the malaria vaccine. The campaign is being carried out by the Federal Ministry of Health in partnership with the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, the World Health Organization WHO, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. The launch follows the arrival of the first shipment of 186,000 doses of the malaria vaccine to Sudan in October. The vaccine is set to be introduced in 129 sites across the country in 2025 and 2026. According to UNICEF, malaria kills nearly 500,000 children under the age of 5 every year in Africa. In 2023, more than 3.4 million malaria cases were reported in Sudan, causing an estimated 7,900 deaths, although UNICEF warns that figures are likely to go underreported due to the ongoing conflict and communication breakdown in the country. The vaccine, recommended for children aged 5 to 12 months, is expected to reduce child hospital admissions and mortality rates from the disease. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
There are more reports coming your way right after this break. Please do stay with us.
Did you know that President Bola Tinubu has approved the suspension of import duties and tariffs on rice, maize and other essential food items for the next months? The President has also approved the suspension of import duties on pharmaceutical raw materials and equipment. This will help bring down the prices of food and drugs across the country. All hands are on deck to ensure that things get better for all Nigerians. This is the renewed hope.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, Bangladesh struggles to tamp down a surge in dengue cases as climate change turns the disease into a year-round crisis, leaving some pediatric wards packed with children squeezed to a bed. Reports say 7 more people have died of dengue, while 1,209 new patients have been hospitalized with Aedes mosquito-borne disease across Bangladesh in the past 24 hours. The Directorate General of Health Services said as many as 422 were hospitalized in Dhaka among the new dengue patients. In addition, 211 were hospitalized in the Dhaka division, 40 in Mensingh division, 160 in the Chattogram division, 137 in the Khulna division, and 171 in the Rajshahi division. Others are 26 in the Rangpur division, 138 in the Barishal division, and 4 in the Sale Health division. With the new counts, the number of hospitalized dengue patients has reached 69,456 this year. A total of 337 people died among them. The Aedes mosquito that spread dengue, identifiable by its black and white striped legs, breeds in stagnant pools, and cases once slowed after the monsoon rain faded. Although Africa celebrates successes attained through the digital economy, there are suggestions that the continent should display extra quests, as inclusive participation will hinder active participation of women and girl child remains a challenge. Advocates at one of the sessions of the 2024 African Women's Congress in Lusaka, Zambia, are recommending sensitization to promote digital literacy among women. Lucia Diagbo reports.
In the present day and age, tech is king. It brings the world to the palms.
That other women have fear.
From the explanation of Daliso Mungola, a 400-level student of political science, University of Zambia, in a particular community in his country, every woman still suffers from telephone phobia.
The major argument was that women are not allowed to have phone because it promotes them to do certain things that are not good.
We need support and opportunities for us to achieve this innovation that we really want in Africa.
The peer review mechanism approach at the 2024 Africa Women Conference is insatiably looking for an antidote to address this imbalance.
We planned, as part of our project for the coming year, to have pilot digital hub for girls across African countries. And once it's done, people know that African Conference is just not about coming together to talk, but also coming up with implementable solutions that will have impact in development and progress of the African women and girls.
We are looking forward that it will reach out to the whole of Zimbabwe and empower not only the girls and women and also men, the less privileged, so that they can be able to interact through digital harnessing of this opportunity.
Experts from within and outside the continent, especially women who have established their footprints in the digital space, are now giving more insights into how African women can move from this parochial mindset.
With the right digital tools, we can dismantle these barriers and level the playing field for women in trade.
Social media is where we can reclaim our stories and show the world who we are: resilient, innovative, and powerful.
I am recommending that women should come out to participate. But if government and leaders could invest more in technological advancement, then educating the women, that is at the grassroots.
The African Union's digital transformation strategy has set a goal of digital inclusion for every African woman by 2030, and a charge has gone to delegates at Zambia 2024 AWC to return to their countries as crusaders. From Lusaka, Zambia, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
The Magistrate Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Kuje has adjourned to the 22nd of November 2024 for the consideration of a motion of notice filed by the Defense Counsel to the alleged assaults and threats to life charges preferred against Alex Sikwejek, a member of the House of Representatives, by the Inspector General of Police. Chukunon Sunwabeze reports.
At the resumed hearing of the case, counsel to the defendant, Odi Ajike, sought the leave of the court to move a motion on notice, which he said had been served on the prosecution. In his objection, the prosecution counsel, Ibrahim Mohammed, said although his attention was drawn to a service copy of the alleged motion in the court file, he was yet to be duly served. He therefore prayed the court for time to be served properly to enable him respond to the said motion adequately. Without any objection from the defense counsel, Senior Magistrate Abubakar Umar adjourned the case to 22nd of November 2024 for the defense counsel to move the motion. He, however, reminded counsels that there will be no room for longer adjournments in the matter in order to meet up with the 180 days adjudication period in criminal matters as provided for in the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Alex Ikweche, standing trial over allegations of assault and threat to life of an Uber driver, preferred against him by the Inspector General of Police on behalf of the federal government. The defendant, who was in court for the day's proceedings, had earlier pleaded not guilty to the charges. Issues contained in the motion sought to be moved by the defense counsel were not made known. Chukunon Sonwabweze, NTN News.
The National Human Rights Commission has received reports of the Special Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violation in the Northeast. Omeka Marachuku reports that the panel was set up on the allegation of gross-human rights violations contained in the Reuters reports of December 2022.
In December 2022, the Reuters media reports alleged that the Nigerian military conducted secret, illegal and forced abortions of more than 10,000 women and girls in the course of its counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast. Reuters cited healthcare and security workers as source of their information, but the National Human Rights Commission decided to ascertain the truth of the claims when it set up a 7-man investigation panel. 18 months down the lane, the panel's report is before the commission.
The report contains several aspects of the investigative process that will be instrumental in framing our human rights accountability mechanism as well as the criminal justice system in Nigeria.
Together, we can honor our responsibility to uphold the rights and dignity of every individual in Nigeria, and let's follow up the recommendations of the report.
The panel received testimonies from eyewitnesses during its investigations in the Northeast. In Abuja, Omeka Marchiku, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party has inaugurated the Board of Governors of the People's Democratic Institute, the party's intellectual resource and research arm. Correspondent Timothy Yusuf reports that the Institute's roadmap was also unveiled by the Governor of Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde.
Inauguration of the Board of Governors of the People's Democratic Institute. Next was unveiling of the Institute's roadmap.
This unveiling serves as the renewal of the PDP pledge to start planning for governance and set out the blueprint to rebuild our nation.
Director General of the Institute, Dr. Edward Adie, disclosed that the 23-year-old institute is better repositioned to put PDP on the path of progress.
PDP was here for 16 years at the national level, and we are now in the opposition. It is important for us to also take seriously when we gain power, we need to learn how to sustain power.
PDP has always been a ruling party. It's a temporary position.
Leadership of the party across all organs promised renewed support to the revitalized People's Democratic Institute.
A number of our people who are in elective position, they have no idea what is the meaning of our People's Democratic Party.
Let us desist from talking about who is running for councillor, or who is running for governor, or is running for president in 2027. Let us talk about what is PDP. If we have an engine room like the PDI, I think we would have moved a step further in consolidating the PDP.
The call for true reconciliation among PDP members going forward into the next off-cycle governorship election in Ondo State. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu heartfelt congratulations to Chief Onyema Ogochukwu, a veteran journalist and former chairman of Niger Delta Development Commission, as he celebrates his 80th birthday on November 9th, 2024. In his message, President Tinubu highlights Ugochukwu's illustrious life and career, which spans several pivotal moments in Nigeria's history, serving as a profound source of inspiration for the younger generation. The president prays for his continued health and longevity, hoping the nation can continue to benefit from his wisdom and rich perspectives for many more years. This is where we end the news. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Alf.